I think for the president and the chairman of the Fed to meet, that's again not unprecedented, as Steve pointed out. But for the president to actually put pressure on the chairman of the Fed, that is, I think, not necessary and inappropriate. Actually, it's not really the president's purview. That's why the Fed is actually independent. I would also say, though, that I don't think that Chair Jay Powell really cares what the president thinks about what he's doing. If it were more widely spread and members of Congress were complaining, then the Fed might take note because Congress gave them their independence. It could take it away. But for the president alone to do it, I don't think that's going to change the Fed's path.
It's not really the problem, though, Megan. You're right. That is the Fed reports to the Congress. The problem, I think, is that when the president does what he's been doing, he creates all of this political pressure from the Twitter sphere, from every other place that comes out. And all of a sudden, every Fed decision becomes, in the political sphere. And I think that in that context, it matters to the Fed that it raises or doesn't because of the backlash it gets from the public.
So I think you're right. If the media were to pick this up in a widespread way across the political spectrum, I just don't think we're really seeing that yet. So the media will report that, President Trump has tweeted about Jay Powell, but that's about it. You're not seeing widespread reports of the Fed killing off the recovery, acting inappropriately, and in the absence of that, I don't think that the Fed will really take note.
I wonder about China, Steve. The reports that Robert Lighthizer might have a more hawkish set of objectives than the president. If the president's most important objective right now is to see a more stable stock market, I wonder which of those two forces might win out if push comes to shove.
Do you remember what President Trump said to Joe Kernan back when he did the interview? He said, "We're playing with the bank's money." Well, all of a sudden, we're not really playing with the bank's money anymore. We're paying a bit out of pocket. I think China's paying a little out of pocket. I think we're paying a little out of pocket. I think the incentive is there for both leaders to come to an agreement and to put this trade dispute behind them, because I think maybe what President Trump has learned is that, yes, he can indeed hurt China's economy, but there's a slapback on the United States from that. And you remember it was a couple years ago, before the president was in office, there was a real scare in the United States and in U.S. markets because of China's slowdown. And now I think that's part of what concerns people now.